The last report we had, 4 cars were involved in this confirmed bridge collapse. Right. Public Safety has also put out information that there was a smell of natural gas in the area. They are asking the public to avoid that area. And Tricia, just some information I'm finding online about the Fern Hollow Bridge. We're learning that it was built in 1970. I'm trying to find information about how high that bridge is. What I found so far is just the total length of the span, which is about 446 feet across the entire bridge, but each span has different lengths. The largest span is about 166 feet, so we don't know which part of the bridge collapsed at this point. You're getting a little look there as police are putting up some tape, and you kind of get an idea of what Tricia was talking about some of the terrain. This is Frick Park, so it is going to be difficult for crews to get down there, and certainly dangerous when you have a deck of the bridge that is collapsed down onto the creek below. Again, this is Forbes Avenue that goes through Frick Park from Point Breeze, heads over to Regent Square. Just looking online, some of the latest, some of the newest information I could find is that this area would see about 14,000 cars traveling through that area daily, Tricia. So it's kind of a bypass, a cut through that a lot of people would use on their commute. Oh, absolutely. One as well. And you have some new information? Well, Tricia, we're just looking at this picture right here. Now you see that police car move in the center of the picture, but it looked like you could actually see the gap as that car moves out of the way. It looks like we can actually see the gap. Yeah. Right there where the bridge collapsed. You can see those vehicles on the other side as we zoom in and get a closer look. And, you know, it's hard to tell from this perspective how wide that gap is, but you'd have to imagine it's pretty large. Right. Yeah, built in 1970. It's a steel continuous frame span, concrete cast in place is what I'm finding online. Okay. You know, we have seen issues. Frankly, you said a lot of people use, was it 14,000? 14,000 vehicles on average a day use this area. So definitely busy. I've driven through here. Susan Copen, our 4 o'clock anchor, tweeted that she drives this almost every single day. And we actually have her on the phone right now. Susan, what can you tell us? You've obviously been directed around this area?
So I wasn't on the bridge or near the bridge this morning. We have a new picture, and then I want to ask you about something.
Yeah, we've been showing you those live pictures, but we've also been getting pictures from people out on the scene. So this is giving us a little bit of a different perspective of 3 of the vehicles. We also know there's a Port Authority bus. It looks like 3, but also right in front of that red pickup, it looks like that's a 4th vehicle right there. It appears to be on its side, and it looks like significant damage on that one. The truck has front-end damage. That car over on the left-hand side, front-end damage. And then there's that car in the background. Looks like it slid backward on a separate deck, separate section that collapsed. Just shows you just how scary this was. Jen was talking to somebody who was a witness out there, a runner who went through the area and talked to one of the drivers. And these are just some startling images we're seeing. Again, that's the Port Authority bus there. You couldn't see it in the other picture we were looking at. You could only see the cars because that bus is actually up towards the end there, higher up along the bridge. Just so scary. And obviously, you know, it's amazing that the vehicle stayed on the bridge deck itself and did not fall off the bridge deck. That certainly could have been a possibility. Just the way this whole thing happened is so scary for those drivers that were out there this afternoon, or this morning, I should say. 8:28 right now. We've been on the air for about an hour covering this breaking news coverage. This happened just before 7 o'clock when we had those initial reports of this bridge collapse on the Fern Hollow Bridge in Frick Park. A number of injuries out there. At this point, we have no reports of anyone being seriously injured or killed. As far as we know, though, some of those rescues may still be taking place. A stunning sight and a crippling blow to the city of Pittsburgh. Fern Hollow Bridge collapsed.
It's surreal. It's the only way I can describe.
We're live at the scene with Team 11 coverage, finding out what it was like when the bridge came down.
It sounded like a huge snowplow.
Plus, a dramatic rescue effort to get all the people trapped on that bridge out. And we're asking how this could have happened.
To think about what a major artery this bridge is.
Just as the President of the United States is coming to Pittsburgh to talk about infrastructure.
And Good afternoon, Pittsburgh. We have been live on the air following this major breaking news since 7:25 this morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Catherine Amento.
Yeah, thanks for staying with us. I'm Gordon Loesch. 5 cars and a Port Authority bus were on the Fern Hollow Bridge over Frick Park when it just collapsed. Here is the latest. 10 people were rescued. 3 of those victims are in the hospital, but amazingly, no life-threatening injuries. The collapse caused a gas leak. Some homes were evacuated, but those families have now returned.
This is a special report from Channel 11 News.
Good morning, I'm Gordon Loesch. We're cutting into program to bring you breaking news. Pittsburgh police are providing an update after 2 children were stabbed in the Hill District. Let's listen in right now.
The officers immediately rendered aid.
You've been listening to an update from Pittsburgh police after 2 children were stabbed in Pittsburgh's Hill District. That was Commander Richard Ford speaking there down at police headquarters. Again, this morning, we got reports just before 7 o'clock that a man had taken his young son to the Zone 2 police station for a stab wound. Police went back to a residence on Dinwiddie in the Crawford Roberts section of the Hill District and found another child about 7 years old that also had stab wounds. Both children are in the hospital, and they are telling us that they are in stable condition. No charges have been filed at this point, but police there are saying in that press conference that 3 people, including both parents, are being questioned right now. We're going to keep working on this story, and we'll have complete coverage for you coming up on Channel 11 News at noon and on the WPXI News app. See you then.
This has been a special report.
And I'm Gordon Loesch. If approved, the mandate would apply to indoor businesses and outdoor events with more than 250 people. Channel 11 Susan Copen joins us live at the breaking news desk with the details on this now. Susan. New at 5, a Washington County man will not face charges in connection to a fatal shooting. We first told you about that shooting 2 weeks ago. Today, Governor Tom Wolf visited a vaccination clinic in Reading, Berks County. The governor is encouraging Pennsylvanians to do their part in stopping COVID by getting vaccinated. According to the Department of Health, more than 90% of COVID deaths, hospitalizations, and cases are among the unvaccinated. The Department of Health says the data proves the vaccines are working, but there are still some vaccinated people who are contracting the virus. And Channel 11's Amy Hudak joins us live. And Amy, you spoke to someone who has one of these so-called breakthrough cases. After a big comeback win to open the season, Mike Tomlin and the Steelers are looking ahead to Sunday's matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders. Sports director Albie Axelrider joins us now with an update from the head coach. Albie, what do you have to say?
See, Gordon, you're already used to saying Las Vegas in front of the Raiders.
A former local doctor who was the first physician in the U.S. to be prosecuted under a federal crackdown on pill mill doctors now wants to withdraw his guilty plea. That's because a conviction means he can't homeschool his 9-year-old son. Andrew Zelke, the former head of Medical Frontiers in the Richland Mall, pleaded guilty in federal court back in July. He was accused of writing prescriptions for addicts in exchange for cash. He and his attorney filed a motion yesterday to withdraw that plea, saying they were not aware he couldn't homeschool his child. But the U.S. Attorney's Office is opposed to the request. And disinformation could play a big role. Our senior Washington, D.C. correspondent Blair Miller joins us live. And Blair, you talked to parents and experts about what they're noticing. Developing tonight, Pittsburgh police and the FBI are investigating threats that were called into 2 city churches on Sunday. One of those churches is in Greenfield, and that's where we find Channel 11's Michelle Newell tonight. Michelle, you spoke to the pastor about those alarming threats. If you're looking for work, Amazon is trying to fill 125,000 jobs across the nation, and about 1,000 of them are already available right here in the Pittsburgh region. Today, Channel 11's Liz Kilmer got a tour of a brand new facility and learned about the perks being offered to new hires. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Kirsten Garris is in Capitol Hill with more on the changes nurses want to see. The Department of Justice is tackling police reform, the agency telling federal police officers they are no longer allowed to use chokeholds, and now no-knock entries are limited. The DOJ says it has re-examined the use of the techniques following what they're calling a number of recent tragedies. That includes the death of Elijah McClain and Breonna Taylor in 2019 and the death of George Floyd in 2020. Just this past May, voters in Pittsburgh as well as Allegheny County voted to ban no-knock warrants. Chokeholds and other neck restraints were banned last year. Forget Taco Tuesday. What about tacos every day? Taco Bell says it's testing a subscription service for tacos, and David's all about it. Customers pay $5 to $10 a month for what's called a Taco Lovers Pass. That lets them eat one of a variety of tacos every day for 30 days. Apple has issued an urgent iPhone software update. The company says it addresses a critical spyware vulnerability. The update plugs a hole in the message software that allowed hackers to infiltrate a user's phone without the user clicking on any links. Officials say it's been used to spy on journalists and human rights advocates in multiple countries. And now he's using his experiences to help entrepreneurs and first-time homeowners. Channel 11's Michelle Newell joined us to highlight the disparities so many people in our community deal with on a daily basis. And right now, 2 local lawmakers are pushing to make a mask mandate back in place in Allegheny County. This as COVID cases continue to rise throughout the region. This is a story we first broke last night at 6. And now at this hour, County Council is meeting to talk about this controversial proposal. Breaking right now, Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority just ordered to pay $500,000 for violating the Clean Water Act. The PWSA was also sentenced to 3 years probation and has to implement an environmental compliance program. Investigators say the PWSA spilled sludge into the Allegheny River several times between 2010 and 2017. Local restaurant owners say they are struggling to stay open, and it's not because they can't attract customers, they can't attract a staff. A local motel turned into a crime scene. Police swarmed this property after 2 people tied to the disappearance of a toddler were found inside. This is a story that not only crosses state lines, but also raises a lot of questions, including where that missing toddler is. A lot of talent right there. It is finale night on America's Got Talent, and Latrobe's own Victory Brinker could win the competition, but you need to vote for her. Her performances seem effortless, and at just 9 years old, she has stunned the judges and even her competition.
I had to work hard, and I'm glad I worked hard.
And she's adorable to boot. The season finale of America's Got Talent starts tonight at 8 p.m. right here on Channel 11. Breaking news right now, and there is a large police presence by PPG Paints Arena, and this is a live look right there down the boulevard, and you can see a lot of police activity. The bomb squad on scene right now with that truck there on the left-hand side. We're going to work to confirm more information here, and you can keep it here for any updates as they come in throughout this newscast. Breaking news in Chopper 11 live over downtown where a chaotic situation is unfolding there. Roads are shut down after a bank robbery. And Channel 11's Joe Arena just got to that scene near PPG Paints Arena and joins us live now with the breaking information. Joe, what are you seeing?
Gordon?
Joe, did you say that person is in custody, the person who is involved in this bank robbery or attempted bank robbery?
So right now we're waiting to hear what type of incident it is, Gordon.
And Joe, you talked about how they have the roads closed in that area. Are they also keeping pedestrians away in that area as well?
Mm-hmm. All you see is that robotic machine, which is moving around right now, as you can see.
Yeah, and it looks like, I can't tell there if some of the contents of that bag maybe have spilled out as they're trying to see if there's any kind of an explosive in that bag with those 2 robots pulling at both sides of the bag. It looks like something may have come out of the bag there. Joe, I know there's the hotel right across the street from you, a Marriott. Has there been any need, from what you can see, of any evacuation, or are they just keeping the roads closed at this point?
Right now only consists of those areas you just mentioned.
Yeah, and so they have the road shut down out there. This is happening right outside of PPG Paints Arena. Certainly a busy area there between downtown and the uptown section as we're taking a live look here at the bomb squad working to see what's inside this bag, and some of the contents you can see did spill out on the street. Joe, I know you're not able to get a real good zoomed-in look as we are here, but it looks like some papers and some other things may have come out, but it does look like there may be some other contents inside that bag. So right now there's 2 robots working, as you can see in tandem, that left one, the larger one, the smaller one. These are robotic cameras that the bomb squad is using as a safety precaution, just in case there could be something dangerous or explosive inside these bags. And Joe, this all began with a robbery, and we still don't know where that suspect is, right?
Or if there was an arrest made of anybody.
All right, as we're watching live here, the robot's continuing to work. We're sticking with these live pictures of some kind of a robbery investigation that is taking place. Pittsburgh Public Safety putting out that tweet, that message, telling people to avoid this area. They have the 900 block of 5th Avenue closed. Washington Place between Duquesne University and Center Avenue is closed. They're telling people to avoid the area. With police and the bomb squad now on scene, doing a sweep of the area, as they just told Joe. So we're going to continue to watch this, and we'll keep monitoring this and let you know if there's any other changes throughout this newscast, as well as on social media, the WPXI News app, and WPXI.com.